call the meeting to order. A silent prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with
liberty and justice for all.
Also on that one note, Russ Virago, a former city council person, passed, and I think everyone got a notice, but I'd like to also offer up a silent prayer for him and his family, and just to thank them for his service to this community. He was a very active member of the community, and he'll be sorely missed, just like John Bernier and so many others. Irreplaceable, but we have enjoyed his services to this community for a very long time. So rest in
That's very
peace,
true.
Russ. Okay.
Amen.
Roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Mayor
Please remember
Kendall.
to state where you are.
Yes, please tell me
Yes.
where you're attending, that you're attending virtually
Remotely,
or in person,
right.
and where you are located.
Okay.
Mayor Kendall,
Present, attending meeting virtually from City Hall in Harper Woods.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Present and attending the meeting virtually from Florida.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Present and attending the meeting virtually from Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Pies,
Present, attending the meeting from Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Present and attending the meeting virtually from my house in Harper Woods.
Councilwoman Williams,
Present and attending virtually from my home in Harper Woods.
Councilman Toussaint,
Attending virtually, and I'm present, attending from my home in Harper Woods.
Acting City Manager Szymanski,
Present.
and City Attorney Diwali.
Here.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the minutes from the regular city council meeting, the library board meeting, the board of review meeting, and the planning commission meeting.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Sawicki?
I'll offer the motion to receive, approve, and file the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 15th, 2021, to receive and file the library board meeting held February 18th, 2021, to receive and file the board of review meeting held March 8th, 2021, and to receive and file the planning commission meeting minutes held on March 24th, 2021.
Support.
A support by Councilwoman Constantino. Any discussion?
Yes,
Madam
Madam
Mayor?
Mayor?
Councilwoman Pies?
Yeah, I have a few things regarding the minutes for the last council meeting. I just wanted to correct that I met with the director of volunteer services at the home and not the director of the home. Also,
Okay.
I had some questions about, excuse me, questions about the board of review. It appears to me that owners of rentals have asked for tax exemptions. There was somebody in there who had 2 or 3 properties that he was requesting tax exemptions for. I don't believe he was given them, but I'm wondering how that came to be, I guess. Also, I noticed that Eastland K&G Fashions had asked for and was given a tax exemption, so I'm wondering about that, how and why. I had always possibly incorrectly thought that Eastland itself took care of the taxes and not the stores within it. And I noticed also there was a grand total for changes in values at the end of it. And I was wondering if someone could explain that. I'm not quite sure what that means, the dollar figures there.
Okay, for the board of review, the city has 3 boards of review through the year. And what's required is when people come to the board of review, it's virtually to seek a reduction in taxes, never an increase in taxes. And what they have to do is they have to provide documentation or comparables of properties that are very similar to get a valuation, a proper valuation. And normally they come in saying that the city may be too high. We tell them to show proof of that, and the board reviews that proof against the standardized criteria through the state, and they come up with a value. There has been a lot of people applying for veterans exemptions, and sometimes they're granted, sometimes they're not. And there's really nothing that the city can do to prevent that from happening. If they do place with all the criteria for an exemption, the city is bound to give them that exemption. And what happens is the totals are, I want to say, subtracted from the tax roll, and we get a new valuation for the city on those parcels that are evaluated.
Does that
So
answer your?
in looking at page 18, it's the assessment roll corrections. And
Yep.
where it says 2021 change in value down at the bottom, there is a SEV number and a TV number. The
Yeah.
TV number is minus 1,115,407.
Yeah,
If you could explain that?
sure. The SEV is the state equalized valuation.
Right.
And the TV is the taxable valuation. The taxable valuation is what the city uses. I want to say since the recession, what has happened is our taxable valuation has dropped dramatically below what the SEV valuation has been. Slowly, it comes back up, but when you have all of these adjustments coming into play, generally it's a subtraction from the taxable valuation. It really means we're going to be getting a little less money for tax revenues.
So this is a change since a devaluation since last year at this time then?
It could be a devaluation. Sometimes they pay taxes in protest, and they provide comparables, or they wait for a significant event to happen. And what happens is that they bring all their documents at one time, and then they're granted I want to say the adjustment in their taxable valuation. That's what they come here for, is to get a decrease in their taxable valuation.
Right, I was just wondering about the effect. Well, I know the effects in the city.
Yeah,
I guess I just wanted an explanation of that. But that will do, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any further discussion?
Madam
Lyons
Mayor?
has her hand up.
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons?
Yes, I had a concern about the meeting agenda notes. In the meeting for March 15th, I was quoted as saying I was frustrated with the city for not cleaning up, when I actually said that we as residents have frustrations around community cleanup efforts, and I just wanted to note that that's what was said.
Duly noted. Are there any further discussions? Okay. All in favor of approving, or is this a motion?
It's a motion.
It's a motion, so it's a roll call vote?
It's all in favor, aye.
Yeah, it's a motion, so it's all in favor. All in favor of accepting the minutes?
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Seeing none?
I think it was accepting the minutes as amended. Point of order.
point of order.
Yeah, there were
Well, it was already-
there were two amendments. So yeah, accepting the minutes as amended.
Yes, well, that was said, but anyway, okay. So accepting the minutes as amended, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, public comment on agenda items. Is there anyone that has any? Is there any hands up?
Madam Mayor, I don't see anybody raising their hand or unmuting at this moment.
Okay, I'm not sure if this is the point in time that we make the one statement about the hatred. Should I do that at this time or wait to call the audience, call the council?
I would wait till call the audience.
Okay, all right, point of order.
Call to council.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Consent agenda, I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Constantino.
I'll offer a resolution to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 9.
Councilman Tucson.
Support.
Support, yeah.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
support. Any
Yes.
discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had a question about the payment to RKA Petroleum. I was just wondering, what was that for?
That is for our gasoline and diesel fuel.
Yes, at the DPW.
Yes, at the DPW yard, they drop off gas, they drop off diesel fuel, our trucks, police cars, and various other equipment gas up at the yard instead of a gas station.
Councilwoman Pies?
Yes. And looking it over, excuse me, I see that we're getting wireless speakers for $3,000, a little over $3,000 to give out to residents who sign up for the auto pay, I believe it is, over.
Yes, that's an incentive. What we're doing, we've had a lot of success with the mobile pay app, and we're trying to get more users on the mobile pay app. It's the city's intention down the road to eventually not produce any more paper billings where we can afford to do so. And this is an incentive to get more users onto the app. I want to say since the advent of COVID, this has really been a lifesaver for our water fund. We have over 3,000 users on the water app, and we're trying to get more. So we did purchase 300 little speakers. If you know anybody out there that isn't signed up on the water app, please send them our way, and they can get their speaker, their Blue Note speaker.
How will they get that speaker?
They have to come into City Hall and they have to register. And once they go through that process, they'll be given the speaker at the window.
Then why do we think that will be an incentive for them?
A lot of people were asking about that, and we're trying it out. We really want to explore all the options we can with this app in terms of people eventually paying taxes, people eventually paying their special pickup bills on it, in addition to the water too. And we have about 50% of the residents. We're trying to get about 1,000 more people.
So they could sign up for the app automatically, and they would only come in then if they actually want the wireless.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, if we see that they're a new user, then definitely we would give them a speaker.
So would you reach out to them then? Or how do they know about this?
We put it in the newsletter, the Insider. There's a little blurb there. As people come in, I want to say we let them know when they pay their taxes, when they pay other payments, when they pay their water bill. We have some of the same people coming in month after month, and they have cell phones and their smartphones. And we try to get them to register there. So we're kind of offering a little gift here.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Is there any further discussion?
there's Cheryl.
Cheryl Constantino?
Wouldn't it be more efficient just to try to get as many people or equally as efficient to get as many people on auto pay as possible?
This actually works out better than the auto
Okay.
pay. It's, there's no fee on using this process. I want to say with auto pay, it does work very similar, but this, you have a messaging system. With the phone app, you also have a breakdown, a billing history, what the components are of your bill, your water usage. You have a history of that, right at your fingertips. So it's actually the people, it's been very hard to get people to use it, but once they use it, they fall in love with it. So we just got to get them to make that first step.
Yeah, I would think that either the app or auto pay should be encouraged, and that saves us on postage and such for the city and for the residents. And I think it'd be a lot easier if we just had people that were automatically paying their bill every month. So that, we don't have people whose bills go 2 and 3 months and they forget to pay or whatever, and then it adds up to be a lot and then they struggle to pay it.
So
Question.
noted.
Question.
Councilman Tucson?
Is there any sort of training involved with this?
It's actually just a registration process. Once people get on it, then everything is automatic. There's a little icon that you tap on your phone, and it brings up the whole application, and it's very, very simple to use. And but all you got to do is try it. You got to take that first step forward.
And if a customer has a problem with it, who can they call?
There's a number right there to call the department, and we can review with them, any detail that they wish. I use it all the time. It works perfect.
Is there any further discussion? Roll call vote, please, Mrs. Franks?
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
yes,
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, since we have no old business, this brings us to new business and city manager report.
Okay, Mayor and Council, item number G1, establish a public hearing date for special assessment district. The city of Harper Woods has statutory authority to provide police and fire services to the community and impose a special assessment for providing these services under Public Act 33 of 1951. The passage of this assessment would provide a maximum of 10 mills for police services and 10 mills for fire services, for a combined total of 20 mills for a period of 1 year. An estimate of the projected cost of operating our police department and fire department, combined with the legacy cost of police and fire retirees for 2021, has been provided for your review. As one can easily determine, it costs the city well over $7.7 million to provide these services each year. Currently, our city operating millage brings in roughly $4 million in tax revenue each year, creating a shortfall of approximately $3.7 million each year. To fill this budget gap and maintain the current staffing levels of police officers and firefighters, it is once again necessary to ask our city council to approve, renew the 10 mil assessment for police and the 10 mil assessment for fire. Therefore, it is my recommendation that we schedule the necessary public hearings.
Madam Mayor,
Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
I'd like to make the motion to schedule a public hearing on April 19th, 2021 at 5 p.m. for the purpose of receiving public comment on the continuation of a special assessment district, and further to schedule a second public hearing on May 3rd, 2021 at 5 p.m. for the purpose of reviewing the effect of the special assessment on the tax roll, and further that the city clerk publish a notice of these in accordance with the city charter requirements.
Support.
Support, I didn't,
Ayes.
Councilwoman Pies, okay. All right, is there any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
will these be virtual or hybrid or in person?
It will be virtual.
Virtual.
Is there, Councilwoman Williams?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had a quick question. So last year, it was still 10 mils for each police and fire. So this is just a renewal of what was going on for last year.
That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none. I'd like to have, okay, it's a motion. So those all in favor of passing this motion, say aye. Or raise your hand.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, seeing none, motion carries.
Okay, Mayor, City Council, item G2, proposal for professional services, Anderson, Eckstein, Westrick Incorporated, Risk and Resilience Assessment and Emergency Response Plan. Attached is a memorandum from the DPW Superintendent requesting the professional services of our engineers, Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick, to perform 2 compliance mandates required by the Environmental Protection Agency. These mandates are relevant to our water distribution system, of which our engineers have extensive knowledge of. The first project is a risk and resilience assessment that will consist of a comprehensive review of our water distribution and its infrastructure. The second project is an emergency response plan update that will review our preparedness, responsibilities, and operational procedures to be followed in the event of an emergency. Attached for your review is the proposal submitted by AEW Inc. for their assistance with the preparation and certification of these mandates to fulfill the EPA requirements. It is my recommendation that this proposal be accepted and further that competitive bidding be waived.
Madam Mayor,
Madam Mayor.
Okay, everybody. I will go with Councilwoman Sawicki first.
Thank you. I'll offer the resolution to accept the proposal dated March 16th, 2021, submitted by Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick Incorporated for their professional service for the EPA mandates, the risk and resilience assessment in the amount of $11,425, and for the emergency response plan update in the amount of $8,500, and further that competitive bidding be waived in accordance with city policy.
Support.
Support, Councilwoman Pies. Okay, discussion. Is there any discussion on this matter? Seeing none, I have a roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
yes.
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay. Item G3, approval of rezoning request 19353 Vernier, Tim Hortons. Mayor and Council, attached is a memorandum from the city clerk submitting a request to rezone the property at 19353 Vernier Road. This request was brought before the Planning Commission at their February 24th meeting, at which they recommended to the City Council that this rezoning be approved. As her memo states, the property currently zoned C2 Special Business, which allows a restaurant but not a drive-through fast food restaurant unless a special land use is granted. By rezoning this property to C1, the special land use request can be granted. The special land use request is your next agenda item. The final approval of the rezoning request must be made by the City Council as required by the zoning ordinance.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
I'll offer the resolution to approve the request from applicant Cynthia Ivory of Art Kinetics to rezone parcel number 42-01-0063-0000, part of lot 63 to 74, and also of lots 82 to 83, and vacated alleys of, let's see, Aubeneur, Barber, Lang, Coes, Lafayette Division, beginning at the intersection of the north line of Vernier Road and the west line of Beaconsfield Avenue from C-2 to Special Business District to C1 General Business District.
Support.
Support by Councilwoman Sawicki. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
the Tim Hortons there was already a drive-through. Why does this need to be changed?
Because they're changing the configuration of the building, they're knocking down that building and they're building a new Tim Hortons in its place that is COVID compliant with social distancing and the new modern way of serving its customers. And there's going to be 2 drive-in windows.
Right.
So are you saying then that because they're basically starting from scratch on it, that they need to reapply?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Williams had her hand up before you.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask a similar question about the rezoning because it was a drive-through already. So now are they planning to make it almost all drive-through and no walk-in? Because you say it's going to be drive-through on 2 parts.
It's still going to have walk-in. They're still going to have a dining area, but they're going to have a bigger outside dining area, and there's going to be 2 drive-in windows.
Okay.
Councilwoman Constantino?
Yes, I'm just passing along on behalf of my family and others I've talked to. They're really geeked that we're going to have Tim Hortons back in the city. I know a lot of people are really happy about that. And my family's excited. It's walking distance for us. So we're ready to go.
All right.
So yeah, just want to pass along to the proprietor that we have big plans of supporting their adventure.
Madam Mayor?
Mr. Tucson had his hand up first. Have you?
Got his mute on.
Okay, he's.
Yeah, no, so far you have asked all the questions I wanted to ask, so I'm getting
Okay, all right, not a problem. Councilwoman Sawicki?
Yes, I have also heard very positive feedback from residents looking forward to the new Tim Hortons coming in. When you say they're going to have more outside dining, will they be having an actual outside area where people will be able to sit like outdoor dining kind of facility? It sounds like it would be great to do that. I just didn't know if they'll be putting up any kind of landscaping that would, mask the Vernier Road. Just kind of curious as to what they have in mind for this facility.
yes to all of your questions. There is going to be a larger outdoor dining facility. They are going to have umbrellas. They are going to have landscaping there. It is going to be social distance. It's going to be built with a new model, business model going forward.
Right.
All right. I've seen lovely outdoor dining facilities in different locations around the country. And if they do right, it'll be a very nice addition to our community. So thank you.
All
And
right.
there's some pictures at the end, pictures at the end.
Okay. So roll call vote, Mrs. Frank.
Actually, Madam Mayor,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Yes.
just a question around, I know that McKenna and Associates, they do give the renderings and, you do see some of the conceptual models. Is that something that we would be able to see, like what, this new expansion is actually going to
It
look
should,
like?
it should be in your
In your
pack.
packet.
If you look, it should have been in
Yeah.
your packet.
To the back.
Okay. And my other question is, what is the timeline from about start to finish?
I want to say they're going to start the project in May and
Right.
sometime this summer.
Thank you.
Fall.
Yeah, fall.
It should be completed by fall.
By fall, yeah.
Not summer.
Late summer, early fall.
Okay. Are there any further questions? Can I have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes,
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes.
All right, resolution passes.
Okay, item G4, approval of special land use, 19353 Vernier, Tim Hortons. Mayor and council, attached is a memorandum from the city clerk submitting a special land use application from a franchisee of Tim Hortons, Haas Charrera, to demolish the existing vacant restaurant and construct a new building with 2 drive-through lanes at 19353 Vernier Road. The Planning Commission has approved this request, subject to several conditions as outlined in her memo. The final approval of the request must be made by City Council as required by the zoning ordinance. I have reviewed the information and I concur with the recommendation of the Planning Commission that this application be approved, subject to the conditions as provided by the members of this commission.
Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor,
Okay, Councilwoman Williams?
Okay. I'll offer the resolution to approve the request submitted by Cynthia Ivory on behalf of Haas Charrera franchise of Tim Hortons to demolish and construct a new restaurant with 2 drive-through lanes at 19353 Vernier Road pursuant to the Planning Commission's recommendation, subject to the conditions as provided.
support.
Support by Mrs. Pies. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes,
Mayor Kindle,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Pies.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, Madam Mayor and City Council, item G5, proposal for Johnston Park basketball court facility improvements. Mayor and Council, as many of you may recall, our Parks and Recreation Department last summer installed basketball posts and nets in the existing parking lot at Johnston Park. The initial installation was a temporary fix to address growing recreational needs for our youth. The condition of the parking lot is poor at best, with many cracks and uneven surfaces. The condition of the lot at Salter Park is in a similar state of disrepair. The city has decided to tie in the construction of Beaconsfield Road this spring with the construction of the new basketball courts at both Johnston and Salter Parks. The appearance of the new courts will be spectacular. The new courts will be leveled, resurfaced, curbed, flagged for sidewalk replacement, bermed for drainage, painted with a 3-point moon configuration, trees trimmed, installation of water fountains, and American with Disabilities Act compliant. The court surface at Johnston will no longer be used for parking. Trees that are removed from Salter Park to prevent roots from damaging the new court surface will be replaced with smaller decorative trees away from the general area. I recommend approval of this project.
Okay, I need,
Madam Mayor?
Madam Mayor,
okay, Councilwoman Lyons was the first one.
I'd like to offer the resolution to accept the proposal dated March 30th, 2021, submitted by Anderson, Eckstein, and Westrick to prepare plans and specifications, and also to provide engineering, administration, and inspection services for the improvement of basketball courts facilities at Johnston Park in the amount of $107,310.
support.
Okay, support. Discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Madam Mayor,
Okay, Councilwoman Pies first, please.
I have some concerns about this. One is the amount of money, and I'm wondering where the funding is coming from. I know a couple of years ago, we received funding to create some courts, a couple of large courts with seating and fencing in Salter Park, and that fell through from the county. So I believe at that point, our city manager decided to put up the temporary hoops over here in Johnston Park. And then at some point last year, I think they were cemented in. I don't recall that coming past council. And now I see this. So I'm
Right.
wondering where the funding is coming from Johnston, for Johnston Park. I'll address Salter Park in the next resolution, I guess. But if that could be explained to me, I'd appreciate that.
Sure. We're going to be using, like I said, we tied it in with our major road funding. It's going to be coming out of the major road funding for Johnston Park. And again, that's going to be tied in with the Beaconsfield project that's going to be going on. So the money for this is going to come from the major road fund, and it's already in the bank, so to speak.
And the major road funds will, since this isn't a road, I'm wondering how that will be accepted.
Well, it's a recreational space that's off of the road right there. So we got some latitude as far as using the funding because it's going to be adjacent to a major road, which is
Okay, and we're sure about that then.
we're sure about that. We got the money.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kristen,
Councilman
Madam Mayor?
Toussaint. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Sawicki had her hand up prior to, so let me go there first, please.
thank you. That was also my concern. I wasn't certain if whether any of the funds that we get from the county that are designed for recreation use, that sort of thing, is going into this project for much the same reason that Councilwoman Pye mentioned. I'm a little leery about how we are calling this our major road. And so I guess I don't want it to come back and bite us in the future, where we're going to have to find this $107,000 in our budget. I mean, we already need to find it in the budget, but if it's coming out of the road fund, then that's a separate section of the budget. It's not the general fund. And so I guess I am a little nervous about what permits us to use that particular funding vehicle. Thank you.
It will touch the major road. It will be adjoining the major road. We're gonna have approaches that line up to the major road.
Right,
So it's all gonna be
And-
one part of the,
that's acceptable.
That there's like a clause within the
yeah, we won't have a problem
state.
with that.
All right, John may be coming out of sale or otherwise.
All right, I think Councilman Tucson?
Yes, when would for these basketball courts, will they be able to enjoy them this summer? Or would that be something that'd be happening in the fall?
I would, you know what? We're hoping that all of this is gonna get finished at some point in the summer, but I probably would want to defer that question to our DPW superintendent, Bill Schneider, and he could probably hone in right on the date. Bill, would you mind taking over here?
Yeah, you know what, if it's tied in with the road project, that should be completed by August, as far as Beaconsfield resurfacing goes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons?
So I have another question. If this is a major road funding project that is connected to the repaving of Beaconsfield, then how will that allow for Salter Park to be factored into, having those basketball courts repaved? I can understand Johnston Park because it's right off, Beaconsfield and it touches the road, but I don't really understand how that connects to the other park.
Salter Park will be coming from the general fund. I didn't get to that part because that's part 2 of this proposal.
Thank you.
Are there any further questions, any further discussion?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Constantino?
I feel like this will, I don't want to say it'll help our police budget, but just, part of what we hear about defunding the police, or what have you, not really defunding them, but if we spend money in other areas to have activities for the kids and social work and recreation and things like that to help the youth in our community, I really feel like this is an excellent way for them to spend their time. They'll be outdoors like we all used to be when we were little. They'll be, doing a team sport. They'll be making relationships with people that they play with. And so I feel like, overall for the most part, I think this is a very excellent use of our funding.
Okay, are there any further discussions? Seeing none? Okay, roll call vote, Mrs. Frank?
Question. Madam,
Yes,
will there be also any benches involved with that or anything? It seems like I remember.
Yeah, I want to say we're working with some other groups to provide that service. It's going to be a work in progress. But to answer your question, yes, down the road there will be. That's in the plans.
are there any further questions? Any further discussion? Can I have a roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Yes. Councilman Tucson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams,
Yes,
Mayor Kindle,
Yes,
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Okay, item G6, proposal for Salter Park basketball court reconstruction. And again, I would just defer to the prior items memorandum, Madam Mayor.
okay. I need a resolution.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
I'll offer the resolution to accept the proposal dated March 30th, 2021, submitted by Anderson and Anderson Eckstein, and Westrict, Inc., to prepare plans and specifications and also to provide engineering, administration, and inspection services for the improvement of the basketball courts at Salter Park in the amount of $41,920.
I
Support.
Support.
I think I'll.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I thought I had turned that phone off. I apologize. Ah! Anyway, okay, do we have?
Support.
It was
support?
supported. I did.
What about three of us? I think I'm.
Any discussion?
Madam Mayor,
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pye.
again, I have concerns about funding for this. It says that it's using funds from the concrete patch repair program. I'm wondering what funds we have available for that and why we wouldn't be spending those actually on sidewalk repairs. I know we need the parking lot behind the NEDC building repaired. That's in dire need. I'm wondering why the concrete patch repair is going for this, for the pavement, but I'm also wondering how the rest of it will be funded.
Well, we can actually get economy of scale here since we have the contractors in our city, since we have the equipment in our cities. We're already getting a basketball court. So to get it at this price, actually, even though it appears to be very expensive, it's a bargain because all of the people that can do the work are here, and we do have the money in the general fund.
So how much money then would be coming from the concrete patch repair program? That would be separate from the other monies in the general fund?
Well, we kind of knew that we wanted to do this, so it's really just another item. It's not, we're not going to scale back on any kind of work that we have as far as, a parking lot in the back of NEDC. This is something that's additional, and again, we can afford it. And since we're building one already, it just makes it a lot more feasible at this point in time than if we had to take this on, as a separate project later on, because we have the contractors here.
I'm just concerned that we'll be taking money away from repairing our sidewalks.
Won't be doing that. Won't be doing that. This is a separate item.
Okay, then explain to me what the concrete patch repair program is if it's not for sidewalks.
Okay. William.
Yes, thank you. You know what the patch program is for street sections, driveway approaches, sidewalks that have been damaged or removed for water main break repair. So as we go through the season of main breaks, removing concrete, repairing or taking apart and repairing collapsed sewers, the concrete has to be replaced. So we keep track of that on a cement repair sheet, and we track that throughout the winter. And we have a feel for that from year to year, is approximately what that's going to be. We quantify that in volumes. We reach out to our contractors for prices for that. So those are items that are budgeted for. In addition to that, that's somewhat a moving target. And I'll give you a quick example. If we have $35,000 in concrete repair right now, miscellaneous concrete for street work, sidewalks as a result of main breaks or other emergency repairs, we know that by the time that work comes to fruition and all has to be done, there may be an additional $10,000 to $15,000 in concrete. So it wouldn't be unusual for us to spend $55,000 to $65,000 to $75,000 for miscellaneous concrete. Now, if there's a street section that's compromised, that's adjacent to the work we're doing, it's practical to make that street repair as a street patch. So we address it that way. And also to the Kelly Road building parking lot, we put together some engineering standards last year, and we've already received bids and quotes for that. And we had money secured for that last year. And I can tell you that the cost of that back parking lot for 8-inch concrete is going to be approximately $16,000. But that was budgeted for, so that is in the works. The reason that didn't happen last year is because we actually ran out of nice weather. So we've kind of been living with it. But now the sidewalks is somewhat a different venue in that our ordinance is clear that the homeowner is responsible for the cost and repair / maintenance of their sidewalk. What happens is when we put the homeowners on notice for that repair, if they don't do it in a timely fashion, because we have knowledge of that compromised sidewalk, then we are obligated to go out and make those repairs and spend that money. It's money we have to spend, but it's also money that then we reach out to the homeowner or property owner and collect those funds. If
So
that's,
it does answer that question. I see our Parks and Rec Director, John Boback, behind you there also in the office. So I will assume that he thinks this is a good idea also, but I'm also wondering then if this will take any monies away from other park needs.
No, I wanted to just make a comment here too, that we're seeing an uptick in the use of parks. There's more people walking, there's more people interested in getting the pavilions for picnics. And we really, really want the parks to really shine. People are dying to get out of their houses. They're dying to get out of, the quarantine mindset. And the parks are like a sanctuary. And both John and Bill have done a fantastic job. And they know that they got to look pretty spectacular this summer. So people are going to let us know.
you know what, to that end, and they will look spectacular. As far as the drinking fountains go, we already have prices on those. And I met with John last fall and we laid out the footprint for the drinking fountains at the basketball courts. And some of that work is going to be done in-house. We've already have a plan on how we're going to do that, how we're going to get there, and approximately what that's going to cost. So, we have a plan, and hopefully we can uncover those drinking fountains and they can be used if the COVID numbers will start going the other direction.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, I know that we talked about, I'm doing work on the walkway at Salter. And I know I was under the impression that was county money that was going into that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to whether that's now on the back burner with this project, whether we'll be doing both of those. Although my concern goes back to what just mentioned about COVID, because we're seeing a huge number of residents in a community that are spreading virus. And so a lot of the residents are on 20 years old now. So those kids that are out in the basketball courts, I'm a little bit concerned that that we're getting into this. I like the idea of having this available. I think it's necessary to have it available, but I also want to say other than basketball courts available. And so I want to find out what are we doing in terms of the other recreation opportunities in the park.
The walking trails are, there a go. We're going to have those too. Okay, that is going to be done. This is just in addition to it so that everything is completed. We'll have a new walkway for residents to walk around. We'll have these nice basketball courts. Hopefully we can get the parking lot crack stripped as well, to really have a nice appearance, to really encourage people to use the parks. People have been walking in those parks every single day. They're used more now than they were 20 years ago. And, again,
Yeah,
COVID and social distancing, that's we're always going to be mindful of that, but, you know, we still have to have an eye for the future too. Cheryl.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Yeah, I mean, studies are showing that people are 20 times safer outside than they are inside when it comes to COVID. So that's one thing. Number two, I mean, this is for the kids. We need some things for them to do, and it really upgrades our parks, you know, and I think it provides a lot of positive, you know, activities. And like I said, kids can meet each other. So I think this is great. And honestly, for $41,000, that's about half the price of what I expected it would normally cost. So just by the fact that we're doing it right now while we have the opportunity and the equipment there, it looks like we're saving close to 50% on the cost of putting this in. So this seems to be the right time to do it.
Councilman Toussaint,
His mute is on.
you mute. You muted.
He's still muted.
You're still muted. Okay.
Got it. Oh, this one I also want to ask Councilwoman Sawicki. Would this also include your Girl Scout program you had of fixing them, the pathways or whatever?
That was a program, but from those, so I don't know how the city is working with scouts on their idea.
Is there
Any insight?
John Boback, let's see here.
He's still there.
Yeah, John can make a comment. John, you're on mute. Bill?
Got it.
Okay.
We met with the scouts last fall, really early winter. And we will meet with them, I am sure, soon this spring. But they had some ideas to do some things on the track over at Salter. One of the things I think we're going to look at when we add to the extra walking track, we want to get it marked. So we'll have a distance there so everybody will know how far they're traveling. So that's one thing. And some of the grant money that we have from Wayne County will be used for the amenities at both parks. So in addition to what's there. So
What is the distance of the park, the track?
the track right now is 3/8 of a mile, and we're working on right now. We just put our order in, if you will, to get in line for the asphalt company, and then we'll have a final total of what the extra distance will be. But it will probably be somewhere near 5/8 of a mile before we're finished. So, but that will come and it will look very nice when we're done. We'll have some
Thank you.
around that, and we'll also have some seating around the basketball courts that we're going to add with grant money. Grant money's taking care of the walking path and some of the other amenities that we still have to come for that grant. So that's still ongoing. We should be finished with that hopefully by beginning or early midsummer.
All right, thank you.
All right. Are there any further discussions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
I do believe Mr. Boback sort of touched on some of the question that I did have with regard to like the concrete patch fund. Don't some of the CDBG grants sort of offset the costs that we would have to take out of the funding that we have as a city to be able to, you know, just kind of mitigate some of the problems that you can come across?
Yeah, CDBG, what happens is we would actually provide the initial expense and we would send the reimbursements to the county against that grant for that particular year. And we do make recoveries from that grant for those specific programs, yes.
Are there any further discussions? Seeing none, roll call vote. Mrs. Franks?
Okay, Councilwoman Williams,
Yes.
Mayor Kendall,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Costantino,
Yes.
Councilwoman Lyons,
Yes.
Councilwoman Pies,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sawicki,
Yes.
Councilman Tucson.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes.
Oh, all right. Being the end of the city manager's report, I need to add new business item to the agenda. And I would like to discuss the city manager's employment agreement. We are on the verge of a big development in this city since 1957, new mall development. We cannot afford to have this development fall by the wayside. My problem or my point today is that I have reached out to the city manager on several occasions. He has not been in contact with me or any council people that I know of, nor the former mayor since his departure last year. Now, we really question the idea that we should continue to pay someone that's not been here to serve us when we can use this money to do other things, police safety officer or either road repair. So my problem is the fact that in my realm of world, when we talk about somebody not being in contact with your employer, that is considered insubordination or lack of response to your job, in essence, walking away from your job. We are Mr. Raker's superiors. We are the ones who hire and fire him. We are his boss. He is not our boss. So therefore, being that we have had a whole year without a city manager, we had John as acting city manager, which he will continue to do until we do a search for a new city manager. John Szymanski will not be the city manager. He would just hold this position until we can do a thorough search of someone to perform the duties that we need to perform here in the city of Harper Woods. So we have budgeted for Mr. Raker, so we could use that money in other instances since we have not had a city manager. So therefore, these reasons, I'm requesting a motion to add to the agenda the termination of the city manager's employment agreement.
Or
Supported by Mrs. Pies.
Yes.
A point of order.
Just a moment, please, Cheryl.
Okay.
Just a moment. It has proved,
Madam-
it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Now, Councilwoman Constantino, you had your hand first.
I was just going to say, for a point of order, the mayor can't move it. It has to be moved by someone else and supported.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just a point of order, nothing else other than point of order.
Okay, so then can I get somebody to make the motion?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, yes, Councilwoman Constant, I'm sorry, Sawicki, Councilwoman Sawicki.
I'll make the motion. Ms. Hayes already approved it, so if she's willing to approve it.
Excuse me?
And that's just to put it on the agenda.
Okay,
I didn't hear anything.
we didn't hear what you said.
I
Mrs.
didn't hear
Sawicki,
what you
can you
said.
repeat your motion again?
You're breaking up, Vivian.
Me?
Yes,
Okay, I'll offer the motion to put on the agenda the replacement or the need to terminate the existing city manager's contract.
And is that
Or,
supported by Mrs. Pies? It has been moved and supported. Any discussion?
Madam
Madam
Mayor,
Mayor,
Uh, Councilwoman Lyons first, please.
can I ask that we, consult with the city attorney on this? Because I do feel that this is somehow illegal, considering that this person has been deployed in service of the country. And this is something that is, a protected class. It's federally like illegal to terminate someone for being deployed, under service agreements.
Madam
Yeah.
Mayor,
Just a moment. Okay. Councilwoman Williams first, please, and then Mrs. Pies.
okay, thank you, Madam Mayor. I was going to say something similar to what Councilwoman Lyons was saying, because if Mr. Raker is still deployed with the United States government, he is protected under the United States government by being a soldier. So if
Yes,
he's not deployed and he's back and he's just not reporting, to work, that's different. But if he is still deployed, I always thought that his rights was, protected by the United States government.
correct. Okay. Councilwoman Pies.
I just want to point out that this is to put it on the agenda. This isn't discussion about whether or
Right.
not we should terminate him. It's just about putting this item on the agenda.
Okay. So it's been moved and supported, discussion, to put this on the agenda. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And so motion carries.
I'm sorry, you didn't ask those opposed?
I'm about to ask you.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Any of those that impose?
aye.
I would like to state I don't want to put this on the agenda without the city attorneys, without discussion from the city attorney, because it may not be legal to even discuss this at this time.
It's okay.
We don't have enough information.
Well, the information we have right now, a point.
It's just to put this on the agenda.
It's just putting it on the agenda. We will go through the next phase of it with the determination of it. Will we do a lengthy discussion? And that's when our city attorney can chime in and give her legal opinion. But also understand that we've also discussed this. We've had legal opinion also. So the point of it is right now, so those not in favor of putting it on the agenda, may I have your yes or nays now?
Nay.
Nay.
Nay, until we have heard whether the city attorney has said that we should put it on the agenda.
Motion carries.
The motion carries. Okay. All right, now, I am asking, or is putting on there about the termination of the city manager employment agreement. And as Cheryl, Councilwoman Constantino has pointed out, that I can't make that motion. It has to come from city council personnel other than myself. So therefore, I ask that someone make the motion to terminate the city manager's employment agreement now. And then we would have discussions, and then Attorney Diwali can chime in.
I thought Councilwoman Sawicki already did that.
No, that was just to put it on the agenda. So we need a motion to terminate the employment agreement. Since
Madam
we
Mayor,
have put it on the agenda.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I'll offer the motion to terminate our city manager's contract. May I discuss at the moment why I am saying that?
No, let's get the motion in the second, and then we can go to discussion. That's proper procedure.
Okay. It is on the agenda already, so
Right. So I need someone to second the motion, your motion. Vivian,
I'll support.
okay.
Now we discuss. can
Now we
the
discuss.
whole- okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Madam,
yes, Councilwoman Pies.
I would like to make it clear that my interest in this is strictly that we have not had any communication from our city manager. It doesn't have anything to do with funding. It doesn't have anything to do with anything, except that we have an employee who has not responded to our mayor's multiple email requests for him to be in touch with her. He didn't respond to our former mayor's email request to be in touch with him. I know of a commission member who I've spoken with who's had multiple discussions with him last summer. I know of a department head who's had multiple discussions with him. I know of another city employee and one of our contractors who have had multiple discussions with him. And yet, to my knowledge, he has not spoken with any council person here. And even if he did, it really wouldn't matter because he's not talked with our mayor. He's had no discussion or seeming interest in reaching out to me. I'm looking at it from the perspective of my previous employment, that no way could I work for a year contacting everyone else around me, but not report to my boss when my boss has repeatedly asked me to report. This is what concerns me. I don't know that the word insubordination is the correct word.
I don't either.
But I think it's concerning that our city manager has chosen for almost a year now to not communicate with either of our mayors, and still has thought best to reach out to people that are on our commissions or are otherwise employed by the city. The Open Meetings Act allows for his participation remotely, as it does ours. To my knowledge, he has not attended a meeting, but as we see here, there are phone numbers on here and sometimes initials that we don't recognize in the virtual meetings. But my concern is that he has not been in touch with anyone. I don't know that he's been in touch with our public safety director. I don't know what his communication has been with other leadership in the city, but that's just about moot, really, because everything comes down to the mayor and council. And he has not been in touch with our mayor even after requests. So bottom line, that's my issue here. It doesn't have anything to do with anything else.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
I know that, or at least I was my understanding that there is no prohibition by the armed services would prohibit him from contacting or being in touch with our city, particularly with you, Madam Mayor. Also, I'm a little concerned because the city manager knows that Mr. Szymanski did not have the kind of training that that Mr. Riker had in his role as a city manager. John has done a wonderful job getting us through some very incredibly difficult times that most city managers never have to face. And I have to give him kudos for being able to step into a role where he did not have, the type of college background, that would give him the kind of, training for the situations that he had to face. I am in awe of his ability to do what he has done over the past year. But knowing that, Mr. Riker, to the best of my knowledge, has not offered his seemingly expertise to guide us through some of the very challenging things that we have faced. And that makes me a little concerned. But more than that, I really do want to hear from the attorney concerning this idea. I believe that we need to see cautiously the fact that there is a certain amount of support as a member that Ms. Wright might have. I've been told separately was that is just people was a surprise that you never, it's almost advocating. And so I really want to hear some insight legally for proceed and yes.
You were completely breaking up, Councilwoman Sawicki. We really did not understand you clearly, but let us ask that Attorney Diwali speak.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Pies.
If I could point out also that, or just a reminder to everyone that the city manager's contract says that his contract may be terminated for any or no reason. And that this discussion also is not in any way about evaluation of his work. There is no point to be argued here because this is just a fact about communication or the lack thereof.
Where's Sharon? Okay. I don't see, oh, there she is. Sharon, would you like to speak and tell us what direction?
As I've said on a couple of different occasions, there is a strong federal law, regardless of any contract, that governs this issue. USERRA is fairly clear in its protection of service people who are actively deployed.
Yes.
Can't be terminated. That law is exceptionally strong. And indeed, I have cautioned before about even discussing this at council meetings, because what you say here, because it is open to the public,
yes,
can be used should someone decide to perhaps pursue a lawsuit. In my opinion, your arguments, it makes sense, but there is a strong federal law. And in my opinion, I think the exposure to the city is quite great.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As a former soldier, I mean, I know we're not discussing anything about his performance or anything like that. I know when I went to serve, whether it was 2 weeks or 2 months. I was not expected at all to have to report back to my job and communicate with them, because I was a full-time soldier at the time that I'm deployed doing whatever I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I also knew that my job, and that the reason why they even came up with this federal law, was to protect servicemen's jobs from being fired, so that when you come back, you still have your job.
Yes.
And so that's why this is a huge concern for
Yes.
me, you know. So I guess that's all I wanted to add right now.
Okay, thank you. Is there any further? Councilwoman Constantino?
Yes, I mean, we're putting ourselves in legal jeopardy just having this on the agenda and just discussing it, number one. Number two, you know, also having been in the military myself, we should not expect him to report to us other than return dates. And he's putting himself in legal jeopardy because of all the, you know, the chaos in our community and everything. If he does start conversing with us, if for some reason we are sued for something that happened while he was gone, he is better off remaining disassociated until he is returning. And furthermore, I mean, I'm all in favor of hiring a temporary city manager, and then, you know, with the possibility that it may eventually become permanent. That's fine with me, but we cannot just fire him and hire a new permanent city manager. It would have to be under temporary circumstances. And also, why are we still paying him? If he's used up all his vacation time, we don't need to keep paying him if he's used up all his vacation time. And we don't even need to provide his benefits because he's on military benefits right now for the entire time he's on leave. Once we've paid him for all his vacation days, we don't need to keep paying him. He's fine. He's got an income through the service. So, you know, we are obligated to hold his job for him, but we're not obligated to continue to pay him for the time he's gone once he's used up his days off.
Madam Mayor?
Okay, Councilwoman Lyons first, please.
So it's my understanding that Acting City Manager John Szymanski let us know that Joe Raker would be returning, or he has orders to return on April 23rd. And so, you know, since if this is such a concern more about the fact that an employee is not getting back to us and not, you know, just trying to jump over USERRA laws and, you know, just federally protected, you know, stipulations, then why wait until now when you know that, you know, there are orders that he's returning this month? Why not do this, you know, months ago? Why now?
Actually, the reason probably now would be more of the fact that we are getting close to solidifying the Eastland project. And I would not want the city manager to come in and decide to derail it or do something differently. We have investors that are ready to move. And therefore, if we get another, if Joe comes back, if Mr. Raker comes back and decides that maybe the city should not move in that direction and does something differently, then that would cause us to lose the investors that we have already invested this time in with the Eastland project. So one of the reasons is that the reason I sent him an email was to ask him, because we had gotten verbal conversation that it may have been his extended date may be until the end of the summer. So therefore, I'm just going on rumors, and I asked him specifically to give me a confirmation whether he will be returning on April 23rd or not. I have gotten no response. So that is the reason that I decided that I wanted to move on with this, because I have investors waiting and I need to have stability for the city of Harper Woods. Councilwoman Constantino.
The city manager works at our pleasure, works for us. So if we say, go ahead with the project, go ahead with the project. Why does it have anything to do with whether the city manager returns or not? It doesn't. If we say go ahead with the project, then we go ahead with the project. Just tell the investors, just go ahead. Because if, you know, at that point, if he does decide that he wants to do something different, that point after he's back, then if he messes up a deal like that, that's when we would terminate him. But if you haven't even given him a chance. But all along, I mean, for months and months and months, I've been suggesting that we need a temporary city manager or somebody, an acting city manager that, you know, is maybe not doing so many different things, who's just specialized in being a city manager. But also, we have an economic development director, Ty Hinton. And so I don't understand what I feel like we're making a big deal out of something that we, you know, this really shouldn't be holding up progress. We cannot fire him while he's on active leave. We just can't. That will cause a lot of legal problems for us. So we just can't. We can hire a temporary city manager and that's it. That's all we can do. Or just go ahead without him.
Okay.
So accept the lot we're given. That's just what it is.
Councilwoman Sawicki.
Yes, Madam Mayor, after hearing the argument, it seems to me, especially it's the insight from our city attorney, that this issue may need to be set aside. That I don't know if it's best for us to table the issue or whether it's best for us to vote it down. But in light of the legal advice that we've just received, it's probably in our best interest to not act on this at this time.
Question.
Yes, Councilman Toussaint.
So in other words, to be real legal, we need to really wait until the 23rd and see if he shows up, or is that what I'm hearing?
Who wants to speak to that?
Mayor Kindle, are you asking
Yes.
my opinion?
Yes.
Yes, until his return. Actually, I don't have my materials in front of me, but under USERA, there's a 5-year rule. So you can hire somebody, as Councilperson Konstantinov mentioned, you can hire a temporary until his return. Although, if I might voice my opinion, I think John Szymanski's done a spectacular job, but in very, very trying circumstances. But until his actual return, you face exposure, and there is a 5-year rule.
Okay, return could mean that he's back in the city, but just hadn't shown up to work, or return. I mean, what does return mean?
Right.
Well, his return, once his orders are terminated and he's back, then he has to return to work. If he doesn't return to work once his orders terminate, that's a different story. But we haven't faced that yet. We don't know his return or when his orders will terminate. At least I don't.
No, all I have
Madam Mayor.
is 23rd. Yes, Councilwoman Constantino.
Yes, keep in mind that he, just being in the military, he's authorized 30 days of leave time. So, I mean, even if he does come home, it may still be under orders. So, you know, he's given 30 days a year for leave time under the military, you know, and he still can be active duty and still be on leave. So even if he did come home, if he's still under orders, he still can't come back.
Excuse me?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, not really.
Okay, so he'll get a document that tells the end of his service time. He'll have a date for the end of the service time. Okay, but within the dates of his starting of his service time to the end of the service time, he's allowed 30 days of leave time. Let's say his mother passed away or something. He could come home and he would still be considered on active duty, even if he is home.
Until the 23rd of April.
Well, yeah, until whatever day that he's returning. And then out of courtesy, we would, probably give him a week or something to get caught up on his sleep or whatever. But,
No.
but once he's in, whatever the orders say is what we go by.
Okay, great.
Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki.
I just want to ask the attorney if it's better for us to table this or to vote on it this time.
What did she say?
I didn't hear, I couldn't.
I didn't understand you.
Is it better for us to table this action or to vote it down?
Madam Mayor, listening in the headphones, it sounds like she's saying that either we should just either disband the resolution at this time or vote it down for legal reasons.
Okay, so we should either disband it or vote it down.
I think
Okay,
she said table it or vote it down.
okay, so then,
Madam Mayor?
yes, yes,
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had one more comment to make, something that Councilwoman Constantino pointed out, is that, his job is federally protected, but if it's a concern about paying him for his job, that's a different story. That's something that, I guess with the lawyers or whatever, I'm not sure how his pay is constructed, but his job is protected, but paying him while he's not here, that's a different story. So if his time is up, he's used up his leave, sick leave or whatever, that's a whole different story. Because I can understand that being an issue, So, if that's something that we will look into, that would be different.
okay, all right. Councilwoman Potts.
I just really feel the need here to make a very strong point that this isn't about money. It isn't about pay. It isn't about evaluation of work. This discussion, from my point of view, is strictly about a communication matter between employer and employee, and the lack of communication on the part of the employee with his superiors. It's strictly my take on this. It doesn't have anything to do with anything beyond that.
All right, okay, thank you. So I guess,
Madam Mayor,
yes,
I would like to make a motion, I believe, to table this.
okay,
But I need support for that.
Support and this.
okay. All right, all those in favor of tabling
Aye.
this employment agreement for the city manager, please say aye, or
Aye.
those in favor and tabling it.
Aye.
Could you raise your hands, please? That way I can,
2, 3.
okay. All in favor of tabling it? All opposed of tabling it?
Just one opposed.
I'm lost.
There's two opposed.
Two opposed,
Two opposed, 3
4
for,
yea,
but-
one abstention from what I see, Madam Mayor.
One abstention?
I didn't see all 7 hands go up as I was monitoring.
Okay, let's do this one more time. All in favor of those that wants to table this matter, please raise your hand. Okay? All those opposed to tabling this, please raise your hand.
I'm lost.
Ivory, do you want to table it or do you want to just vote it down?
We tabled it.
It's 3-3.
Councilperson Toussaint raised his hand in favor of tabling it.
I want to table it. I think we table it, but you said you don't want to table it. So what are you saying if you don't want to table?
No, we in favor of tabling it. So all those in favor of tabling it, please raise your hand now.
Aye.
Did Mr. Toussaint raise his hand because I can't
Yes.
see?
I see 4 yeas.
There's no discussion on table.
Okay. So there's, all those in, against tabling it, please raise your hand.
3.
Okay. So motion carries. This issue has been tabled. And we will revisit this at a later date. Is there any further discussion? Okay, well, I have a comment that I wanted to read in now behind. We have recently seen many instances of intolerance and hatred directed towards people across our country. We have seen hate in America become too commonplace. People of color, members of the LGBTQ community, religious groups, and now Asian Americans have been targeted with harassment, threats, physical violence, and other hate crime. It is up to each of us to act in the face of hatred, because silence is deadly. Apathy is interpreted as acceptance, and if left unchallenged, hate persists and grows. In October last year, our city council passed a resolution in support of transformative and restorative justice. At that time, we declared our intent to stand against all forms of oppression and to work to develop policies, practice designed to dismantle racism and all forms of oppression. Today, I'm asking the council to make our resolution in support of transformative and restorative justice a clear statement in opposition to the hatred in all its form by adding the words intolerance and hate to the first resolve clause, that it leaves no doubt about our stand against hatred. So the clause would read as, therefore be it resolved that the mayor and city council of Harper Woods will do whatever is within our powers to protect residents of this city from all forms of oppression, intolerance, and hatred. With these few simple words, our resolution will make it clear that hatred has no place here. So are you in favor? Well, let's see. I have to get someone else to make the motion because I've already learned that I can't make the motion.
Madam Mayor, I'll make the motion to add those words to our
Support.
All right. So Councilwoman Constantino has added the word to our resolution to support transformative and restorative justice, supported by Councilwoman Sawicki. So is there anything else we need to do with that, Mrs. Franks?
If you just want to amend that resolution that was already prepared by all of you, then we just need to adopt the amendment. And you can
Okay.
probably do that just by a motion. I don't think it needs a resolution at this time. And then a written copy of your words would be great and helpful, and I can make sure that that is added to our website as well.
Okay. So all those in favor of adding the words intolerant and hatred to our resolution, please say yes or raise your hand so that we can know.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Pies.
can we have discussion on this?
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, let's have a discussion.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I agree with the sentiment. I would like the wording to be looked at rather than just those two words added to the resolution. I think I'd like the overall sentiment to be there, and maybe we could discuss the wording at some point or go over that in more detail.
Well, I get what you're saying, but if you look back at the resolution, it really speaks to everything else. And if we just add those two words of intolerance and hatred.
So you're saying just add just those two words then?
Yeah, just add those
Nothing
two
more,
words
nothing
to the
around
first-
those two words.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's decided where those two words will be?
Yeah, therefore it be resolved that the mayor and city council of Harperwood will do whatever is within our power to protect the residents in this city from all forms of oppression. And then we added intolerance and hate. So I think that covers everything instead of us making some long added words to it. Remember how we went through this step by step. So I take what you said, and is there anyone else with further discussion thinks that we need to add anything differently?
I'm fine with that, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Constantino.
I don't want to add anything differently. It's just that every time I say it on the screen, it says and tolerance instead of intolerance. So I think just putting it into writing would clarify that. I think that it's
Intolerance.
right.
and
I
hate.
think it's good to
And
have.
hatred.
I think it's, yeah. We can't be having any intolerance and hatred, but just make sure that somehow we get it into writing, because if people look at the screen, they're going to misunderstand it.
Right. Well, that's a part of a caption. You know, it doesn't give your words exactly as you say it sometimes, you know. So please understand that if you're in the recording of this and you're looking at it in caption, you may not get the true understanding of the word.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Councilwoman Sawicki?
would ask that our city clerk include the entire resolution with the added words so that we could see it in our next council packet when we read the minutes of today's meeting.
Yes. Okay. Are there any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, can I have all those in favor of adding these two words to our resolution by show of hands of aye?
Aye.
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 Those opposed?
7-0.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Now let's call the audience.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
Okay, just a quick concern with the new Tim Hortons going in. I know we had problems before in the morning of having major traffic jams on Beaconsfield area.
Yes.
And now that we have the middle school there, hopefully the new plans will somehow route or set it up that we won't have the problems of the kids getting to and from school in the morning.
That is the hope of the project, that from everything I've seen and understood from there. I actually talked to one of the people that was in charge of the design and everything, and that was his hope, is to maintain that there's no residual traffic like it used to be, you know, so we're hoping that with the double lanes, that will take care of that.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak in the audience?
Oh, yeah. I can't see.
We have somebody with Donna, I believe.
Yes, oh, thank you. Yes, my name is Donna Miller, and I've been a resident of Harper Woods for 20 years now. And I want to thank Veronica Pies and Vivian Sawicki and Ernestine Lyons for replying to my email that I gave you this morning. It concerned burning in the neighborhood. What brought this on was Easter Sunday. A couple doors down, there was someone was burning leaves, and it created a huge amount of smoke that was going from Old Homestead all the way over to Eastwood Drive. And I had company over that day, and we wanted to sit outside because, as you know, it was really a lovely day. But we had to go in because it was the smoke was, it was, you know, you could smell it, and it was we were very uncomfortable. And this situation has happened a few times in our area. And I know there's an ordinance that says that you prohibit the burning of refuse. Well, I would like to recommend that we reword that statement to perhaps prohibit burning of all kinds, paper, wood, leaves, and all debris, because it's so unsafe for our environment and for our health. It creates a lot of smoke. Now, I know people love to go outside and have maybe a little patio heater, but that would be fine if they're propane patio heaters because they create no smoke. But the smoke is just, it drives me into my house. And then when I go in the house, I still smell it. So I'm really burned about burning. So I hope that maybe you will consider this, you know, in the ordinance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else would like to speak?
I see Will Smith raising their hand.
Okay, Mr. Smith?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes,
Good evening, everyone.
good evening.
I'd like to first say, I'd like to thank those who put in place the proposal for the facility improvement of Johnston Park and Salter Park. I think that is wonderful. And I think because our children are outside, even though it is the COVID season, if they're outside involved in some type of recreational activity, they're not doing something negative. And so for that, I look forward to seeing that those basketball hoops, in which I was one of the driving forces, has been positive for our city. So for those in Parks and Recreation and city government who thought that the children were important enough for the improvement, thank you very much. I'd like to speak to something I heard today that was disturbing to me. I think it is unfair and shameful to categorize the city manager as walking away from his job when he has been given orders from the United States government, his military service, and for us to question his abilities. It is not his job nor his responsibility to contact those employers once he's been given orders. And it's shameful to do that, especially when we have gotten multiple advice from our city attorney, who we pay to advise us. Shame
Thank you.
on you sitting coming up in November. And for those of you who do not respect your city attorney, Shame on you. And finally, for the members of city council, 2 years ago, when there was a question about the city charter, way of electing the mayor pro tem, when there was another elected council person who received the majority of the votes, was not giving her rightful opportunity to serve as mayor pro tem, even under then the advice of city attorney. This is not right, and it sounds as if there is a group of people that are in cahoots with each other, and shame on you. Thank you for listening to me.
Anyone else would like to speak?
Ms. Courtney has her hand raised.
Okay,
Yes, I have one update from the Detroit area on aging. This Thursday, April 8th, there will be 2 sessions of a class called Medicare Basics 101. It can be done by Zoom or phone. And in the interest of time and clarity, I will give you the ID Zoom on. I will send it to Mayor Kendall and also to Ms. Frank, so that if people have more questions about the ID number for the Zoom and the times, again, this Thursday, April 8th, from 10 till noon, and also from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And I will send the phone number and the Zoom ID numbers to Mayor Kimball and to Ms. Frank. Thank you.
thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Courtney. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak that's in the audience?
Mary Pegla has her hand raised.
Okay,
Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to Mayor Kendall for our wonderful COVID vaccine clinic that we did. I had a wonderful time registering people. I wish some of you could have been on the calls with these people. They broke down crying because they were so excited that they were able to schedule the vaccine. I spent all day registering people. The next day I spent time with the FEMA department making sure we had everything set. And then Thursday for shot number 1, I worked all day and then worked all day for shot number 2. The other thing I wanted to mention is been reading some things on Facebook that have basically called you guys out as not being transparent, not being honest. And it's basically the Priscilla Slater matter. I know the man that was with Priscilla Slater that night was in court last week. Can you guys please explain to people that that case has nothing to do with Priscilla Slater, that you don't have anything to do with that case, that Kim Worthy is handling that case, and that you're not lying to the community about what is happening. Thanks. Y'all have a nice night.
Judge Coleman.
I don't know if she wants to speak.
I was going to just mention the fact that Judge Coleman is in attendance. Maybe she would like to make a comment, or maybe not, on that case.
John,
It would be inappropriate.
Inappropriate?
Thank you, Mayor Kendall. Yes, it would, it would be inappropriate and improper, and I'm not going to put the judge on the spot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All the above,
Yeah,
right.
nothing
Thank
new
you.
has happened on the case.
Thank you.
Nothing new. Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak?
I see none at this time, Madam Mayor.
Okay. All right. Can we call the council? Anyone on council like to speak? Councilwoman Constantino?
yes. I couple things. When we went to the workshop, the MML workshop, we found out that we can actually use some of our COVID money for recruiting police officers.
Yes.
So I know that's something we've been talking about. I think that we really need to step it up because everybody's having a hard time recruiting police officers right now. Nobody really wants to go to the police academy right now.
Absolutely.
So, so I just want to say we have the option to use those funds to recruit police officers, and maybe we can, you know, increase our bonus or what have you. But I think just a little tiny signing bonus is not going to cut it. We need something bigger and more long-term. So not only do they come here, but they stay here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had one more quick thing. We've been getting still a lot of problems over at the Park Crest Motel. And so I just wanted to see what the plan was to deal with that, since they've told their security officers not to call our police. But yet we've had 80 calls or 80 incidents. Yeah.
80?
Yeah, that's what it says in our paperwork, 80. And so just in the probationary period, and that's without them calling us, with the hotel calling us. So I think we need to take some steps because the drugs and the other incidents going on, you know, and some serious, even more serious incidents, if you read the reports, we have to do something.
Okay. Director Smith?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you answer anything in regards to Park Crest? She said we had 80 calls.
In my report, it said that a majority of those runs were officers surveilling the area or doing building checks. So that's a little inflated as far as crime incidents, but they're still happening there. It's mostly narcotic activity. And we haven't confirmed the fact that the security guards were told not to call us. We're still working on trying to confirm whether that's going on or not.
Okay, and so.
So in my report, as I've recommended, to continue monitoring.
Okay, thank you. Councilwoman Sawicki.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The issue with Park Crest is also one that that I'm a little concerned about. Our chief asks that we monitor it. Does he have a recommendation for how much longer we should be monitoring before we step into something more substantial?
Okay.
So that's one question that I'll ask the chief to respond to. But secondly, wanted to just once again mention Russ Velardo to the community. Madam Mayor, you mentioned it at the beginning of the meeting. I had the honor of serving with Mr. Velardo for many years on City Council. He really was an honorable gentleman, and he served our community so well. He was a member of the Lions Club. He was a member of our Little League. He was a member of the Dads Club, and he gave 20 years of service on the City Council, which is a great amount of time. In all time, I know that he has been a shining example of what it means to serve the community well. And I encourage people in our community to step up to serve, to become members of organizations that will volunteer time to our young people, that will volunteer time to make our community a better place. And Russ did that. He and his wife, Elaine, were often there on pancake Sundays, flipping the pancakes and serving them up. The spaghetti dinners, he was a presence there as well. And so I was honored to serve with him. And I do want to just kind of mention it to the community to keep his family in their thoughts and prayers as a thank you to him for all that he has done for us. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there, Councilwoman Williams?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just had two things I wanted to talk about. One was about the traffic calming devices that the city has put up around the schools. And, I've heard from a few residents that they find it to be a nuisance. But putting those traffic calming devices around the schools and also the speed bumps could slow down the traffic, because the safety of our children is a #1 priority. That's not something that we can say that, oh, it's an inconvenience for us to have a traffic calming device and then something happened. I would rather be proactive and try to prevent something from happening now than in the future when it may be too late. So I know some residents do not like having the speed bumps on their street, but we're looking out for our children. And a lot of these are around our smaller schools, Beacon and also Tyrone, where the kids are very small. And the children are not playing in the street, but children has a tendency to go into the street, maybe chasing after a ball or something. I've seen small children get hit by cars, just poking their heads out and just not paying attention. So we do need to do something to try to slow down the traffic. So I know residents, for some, you say it's inconvenience, that you don't like it, but we are trying to protect our young children from harm. And the second thing I wanted to mention was the sidewalk repairs. I know our CDB grant is helping a little bit with the sidewalk repairs, and I know that's the residents' responsibility for that sidewalk. However, I still think there should be something to help our residents with paying for those sidewalks, simply because the trees that's causing the damage is on the outside, which is on the city side. And unless the residents are going to get the trees cut down, and that wouldn't look nice for the city, there should really be more help for residents to replace those sidewalks, the ones that's being, brought up by the tree roots, especially because it's on the, on the sidewalk that's facing the city side, our side, the city side of the street. I know a few residents that either when they're doing the snow, they run into that sidewalk, and yes, it may cost them to replace it, but I still think there should be something that our city is doing, maybe a little bit more, to help residents with that. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Toussaint?
One thing, I had been working with the police chief for a little on upgrading or making our flyer for recruited policemen a lot more current, because at the time when the initial one was made, we really didn't have any positions open. We were just trying to get a bank of resumes. But we have made a couple of changes to it. I'm not sure if it's gotten all approved yet, but looking forward to the chance that we can distribute it a little bit.
I think the date is on the 14th. I'm not sure.
Second of all, I wanted to comment, this is my last comment on, as far as Joe Riker and that advanced vote we had. I was a little confused on tabling that and not tabling it. I'm not sure what the difference in the two groups meant. But I think something will come up again soon, whatever that vote we just did meant anything or not. And so I just, and I support what the lawyers say that, I guess Shubert explained to me that you have to be here. He needs to show up so before any kind of moves can actually be made. So that was just my comment on that whole vote. I'm not sure what that all meant.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to make a comment?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Councilwoman Lyons.
Yes, I just wanted to thank the Harper Woods Public Library for partnering with me to celebrate Women's History Month and to do this project where leaders in the community and some of you, here have participated in reading and celebrating Reading Month, March, and then also celebrating Women's History Month, and just participating in that. The second thing is I kind of wanted to have a just understand what the process and the timeline is when a citizen applies for a CDBG block grant. I've had conversations with residents where they have applied in, say, October or September of 2020, and now here it is 2021, and they haven't received a yay or nay, or they just don't know in general what's going on. And is there a way?
No, he's not on.
We'll
get him. We'll get an answer.
We can get an answer for you, but part of the problem is that absolutely the COVID has rendered the employees down to to the county building have been on hiatus, and so to speak. So I think people are just beginning to move things along. So we'll get a definite answer to you from Mr. Hinton.
Thank you. And the third thing is, I noticed in this quarter's issue of the Insider, the Insider is funded by PA 33 funding, and it allows for just a notice of what's going on in the community. And I noticed over the years there was never any sort of political or we're going to highlight this particular candidate on an election year or this particular person. Even when Mayor Pointer was in office, there was never a story that talked about, how great he was or what he's doing. And I just feel that in some ways our front cover of the Insider had a political propaganda or opinion piece. And I just don't think that that's the best use of our PA 33 funds to,
actually
certain things about certain people during an election year. I understand we want to celebrate the city, but we can do that without saying this person, that person. And, I understand the neighbor in the news, but this is an election year. And I don't think that, that was too far off from being political propaganda.
And I beg to differ with you and first of all, that is not, that act is 359. It is not the PS POT 33. That is not the act. So, but it has nothing to do with publicizing or politicizing. It has everything to do with what's going on in the city. And as it stands right now, I am the mayor. And those were projects that I have been working on. Therefore, there is nothing in there that says it's being political or politicized, simply because those are things that's happening in the city right now. So if you've taken it that way, I apologize for that. But it's those things are factual things that are happening. And it was a decision to be made. That's all. So to say that it was politicized, and to also, it has nothing to do with PA 359 033. That's not it. It's PA 359. That's what it is. And it has nothing to do. The other one is between the fire and the police, P33. I hope that answers your question. Is there no one else that has anything else to say?
Madam Mayor, just a response to that. I think where it looks like it's an opinion is just, because, if what you're doing is what you're doing, that's a fact. But where it just came in, it's more like the wording, like it says, we are so proud of our mayor. As I know I taught my third graders, is it a fact or is it an opinion? When you say we are so proud, that becomes an opinion. So I think it's just the language involved there might be part of the issue. also. So just, stating what's going on and where you've been, all that can be fact. But when it says we are so proud, who's we, it just brings in some questions. I think it's just more of the way it's written, perhaps.
Okay, I can take it that way. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to say something?
We have Ms. Pies and Ms. Williams.
Ms. Pies, Councilwoman Pies, please.
I've got a number of things. Excuse me. One of them is that I attended the Michigan Municipal League live today. It's an hour-long webinar. And they mentioned that the water shutoff moratorium ended on March 31st. I know, I don't know if Mr. Snyder is still here or not, but I recall speaking to him just before this had all started, and he had explained to me then that the water shutoffs were for homes that were abandoned or otherwise empty, and that it had not affected anybody else, any resident. But this is just an FYI for residents should anything else pop up. Also, the eviction moratorium has been extended through the end of June. Also, I wanted to mention again that Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society Canine fundraiser will be May 15th at Redeemer Church on Vernier, just west of I-94. There's going to be an added fundraiser this year. It's called a hero plushie. It's a plushie of Kaiser, a canine. It's really great looking. He has a custom vest with his name on the front and with the Harper Woods patch on the back, and a thin blue line dog tag. And I've seen it. It's maybe, I want to say maybe 8 inches or so. And there was a variety of shepherds to choose from, a variety of dogs, as well as one that looks more like your own dog, which I think is what was done. But he's great. And for a minimum $50 donation, you can get that. They're collectibles. Apparently lots of cities throughout the state do them and throughout the country. And there are some people, including one here in Grosse Pointe, who collects all the canines from throughout the state. So it's a great way to add to or to start a collection. I'll see if I can get a picture of it for perhaps the next meeting we can put up there. Also, we had the Vaccination Clinic almost 2 weeks ago. And I was glad to see that CNG News came out. Brendan Lasinski, who's the writer there, came out, took some photographs of our firefighters. I hadn't known until a few days before that our firefighters had been administering vaccinations there. And it was great to see them out. I think, I believe Mr. Lasinski is doing a story on that. I think it's really, it was a good thing for our firefighters to be there. I think oftentimes people think of public safety and they think of our police and they forget about our firefighters. And this is a good reminder that not only are they there in case of a fire that are trained paramedics, they're available to serve the city in other ways. And it was just a really good way, I think, of knowing about them. And hopefully when things get back on track with the city and we can start our national nights out again, we'll be able to have more conversations with them and also to find out more about how the department works. Also, I know Ms. Miller spoke earlier about her concern about the ordinances regarding leaves. I think we also have an ordinance regarding fire pits. I'm not sure how Ms. Miller knows for a fact that those are leaves burning or refuse burning, but perhaps we could also take a look at the fire pit ordinance and see how in some instances. And let's see, there was one other thing, and perhaps our attorney can address this with me. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Yes, you can. Okay. Regarding our city manager, I know you've told us that we are not to speak about him. I understand that we can also not speak about him privately as council, which we haven't. I am wondering, in almost the year, how we can discuss the person without, how can we discuss this person as an employee, since we can't do it privately. I don't understand how we can even say the person's name then, or in what context. And so that's one. And then two is I am wondering how we can address a situation in which one of our employees is apparently working with other employees, but not with his superiors. How do we reconcile that? Do we just let said employee go off and do whatever they want because we can't speak about it? Or that employee is doing one thing and council here is doing another thing? I don't know how we can address those situations, and those situations. Is there a way to speak publicly about that or to address it? Or am I just supposed to shut up right now and we just never talk about anything again until God knows 5 years from now or something? This is what I don't understand, and I need some clarity about. If you could offer anything about that. And I don't mean this at all to be flip. I really find myself frustrated not knowing situations that are possible or impossible or what have you. Thank you.
Mayor Kindle?
Yes.
Would you like me to comment?
Yes, please.
Okay. I didn't write this law. It's been foisted upon everybody to a certain extent, but for what the legislature, we have to determine for some very good reasons, in that employees who were actively serving were discriminated against because of their active service. What you do is you take the risk when you speak about, and if you want to talk to your neighbors about it, that's, nobody can stop you. That's private. You're a private citizen. What I've cautioned is council as a group, as the governing body, having this at an open forum where anybody could listen and hear, voicing their concern that he's been gone a year, his active duty time, he's been gone this year, and you want to speak to him while he's on active duty. That's the very basis of USERRA protection, is that he's on active duty, he's gone. His employer, whoever that might be, whether it's General Motors or Joe's muffler shop down the street, whoever it is, from taking any action while he's on active duty, which includes some sort of communication. Well, I want to communicate with you. I want to find out. USERRA's pretty strong on this, in that you're placing demands on somebody who's in active service. Now, when he returns is a different matter. But again, I'm going to caution is that if your reason is because he was gone a year,
nope,
you face significant liability. If your reason is he didn't communicate with us during that year, I think again, you're going to face exposure on that issue. That's my opinion based upon what I've read.
Thank you.
Okay. My other question then would be, would we need to speak then with a labor attorney to figure out how we deal with one of our subordinates who's dealing with running the city while council is running the city, and
I have
you
no
know,
idea.
how do we deal with that?
Well,
That's what I
well,
don't
your
understand.
city is running.
But it's
And
got
you
two
could,
different
and you
heads
could,
going on.
and you could hire a temporary if you wish.
We do have one.
That's always possible as well.
Right.
But
we
his
do
job
have
is
one.
protective until he returns. That's
So,
the bottom
but
line.
you're saying then,
I can't give you any other resolution on that, because I would be misstating and misleading you, and I don't want to lead you into something that could cause the city harm. And that's my opinion. I'm concerned at that point, where there's other mechanisms the city might be able to employ. If there's some point of operation that you're concerned about, you can certainly address those and get that handled. However, the city needs to do that. And you have your other council people here that could certainly help you with you, as well as city staff, in terms of what might be necessary. The operation of the city and what you need to do to operate the city and keep it moving forward is almost a separate issue from the employment of the city manager who's been called to active duty.
so you're essentially saying then that we would, okay, I just see like there's two bosses going on here, and there should only be one, and the city is running on that right now, and that's what I'm trying to figure out, is how do we reconcile that? But you're saying that that's, you're saying that you can't advise on that.
May I ask who's the two bosses, I guess? I don't understand your question.
Well, we've got a city manager and we have council.
He's on he's on active duty though, so he can't comment.
Correct, he can't comment. But what I'm saying is that we know that there have been communications with other department people from him, because I've spoken with them and they've told me. We know that our mayor is doing something with our acting city manager. So I feel like
don't expose.
There's no coordination going on here. And I don't believe that that's not for lack of council trying to have some coordination. So I'm wondering how we can address this issue.
I can't counsel as to what department heads and who they may be talking to. I can't counsel as to what's going on there. I have no information. I have none on that issue. My legal opinion
is we need to stop talking about it right now.
You know what, Mayor Kindle, you are precisely correct. Yes. Yes.
We need to stop. And we will move forward at the time that is necessary when it is necessary. That's the best we can do right now. So we just leave it alone as the point right now.
Mayor Kindle, for the good of the city, I hardly agree with your comments. Yes.
Okay. All right. Councilwoman Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a few things I meant to add on. One, I did attend the Michigan Municipal League Cybersecurity workshop. So it was very interesting, very informative. And I followed that up with a internet security, cybersecurity with NEDEC, because they also had several workshops. So those was very good. So if anybody ever get a chance to attend NEDEC's workshops, they're very informative. I also enjoyed being part of the reading at the library with the Women's History Month. So that was real interesting. That was fun. And I wanted also to bring up a rat issue that we're having in Harper Woods. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've noticed, and I know several of my neighbors have noticed, that there is definitely an increase of rats. We have we're beginning to have a serious rodent issue in our city. And that's something I think that we should think about. What do we need to do as a city to get rid of some of these rats or rodents, because they're tearing up the garbage cans, the garbage, and there's more and more of them. Every time I look outside, I see one running across running across the lawn, and I know it's a rat. So just wanted to bring that to the city's attention. Thank you.
Thank you. And the DPW, we can address that with a couple of things. It's also with unsecured trash and also dog mess is one of their favorites. So, you know, everyone loves their pets, but everyone is not willing to pick up behind their pets all the time. And that increases or helps to add to the rodent problem. But Mr. Snyder, are you still on the line?
You're muted, Bill.
Yes, I am, and you are so right. Dog feces is a delicacy for rodents, and it draws them to an area. And we do respond to calls from residents regarding rodents, and we have a list of things that homeowners can do to police their properties, kind of referred to as good housekeeping practices. And one of those is to pick up the dog waste daily, use cans with tight-fitting lids, and there's a variety of other things they can do because rodents need food and they need shelter. And if you take those items away, they will, I hate to say, move on somewhere else, but they'll perish. And homeowners can bait also. So if there's a specific area, we will mail out letters to dozens of homes to make the homeowners aware that there is a situation, not specifically at their home, but there's something in the area going on to kind of tighten up on the good housekeeping practices. Pick up the litter, pick up the garbage, tight fitting lids, dog waste, and don't feed the birds, as much as I like birds, so.
All right. Seeing that there's no one else to speak, I will just make a quick statement about my firefighters that assisted me with the vaccine at WC3. It was awesome. I had little old ladies coming in and asking for a certain firefighter to be the one who give them their shot. You know, it was really cute and endearing the way they handled themselves. And I truly, truly appreciated their assistance. And I got a notice today that Wayne County would like to come back again and do another second shot vaccination in our community. So I haven't got a date. I have a date, but I haven't been able to confirm it with Wayne County Community College. So when I do, I will make sure everyone on council knows, and then we'll go from there once again to try to set it up so that we can vaccinate those people in our community. I've had so many people that missed out before, but we've somehow managed to get them to get shots in the meantime. But this time I want to make sure that none of our seniors has to leave out of our community to be vaccinated. They have a wonderful program at downtown Detroit, but that's fine. But I don't think any of our seniors should be driving that far just to get a vaccination. And so since we're gonna have the second opportunity within the next few days, I will give you that information via email so that we'll know what and when we will be doing this again. And I'd like to thank all the council people that assisted me and residents and all the volunteers. We couldn't have done it without your help. So I probably will be soliciting you again to assist. And those of you that had your shot, I hope that you will once again agree to help us out. And to make it, we had nothing but kudos from everyone, from the community to Wayne County Community College, about the way our operation was handled. And that's all because of the great volunteerism from our community. So I thank you once again. And with that, I'd like to have a motion. Oh, I forgot. Well, I think at a later date, Director Smith will be doing accommodations to those officers, those firefighters. They will be getting a special accommodation for their volunteerism. So we'll be doing that at a later date because they were just awesome. It had nothing but praise. And like I said, some of the people wanted to take Kevin home with them on a bunch of occasions, you know, but he was awesome, as well as all the other firefighters. So with that, I'd like to have a motion for adjournment. Mr. Toussaint.
I move we adjourn.
Support.
All right, so everyone be safe. Cheryl, be safe coming back home. And everyone have a good evening and see you soon. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, point of order. We have to vote yet.
Oh, girl.
We didn't vote to end the meeting.
I'm so sorry. I guess I was in such a hurry to go. Okay, I'm sorry. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed to adjourning? None seen. So we are adjourned.